Hi guys, I'm Man Junior Productions, and this is kind of a different video from what I usually do. Lately I've been doing mashups or remixes, both dope and cursed, I guess. You might say I've been having a lot of fun with vocal remover AI until I need to start using subscriptions. Why do they always put these things on? I had been toiling in my agony from this for quite some time when Gabriel, one of my viewers, now one of my new subscribers, mentioned an old comment I uploaded back on the old early Foodfight trailer. Well, actually it was a reply to another comment stating that someone ought to remake the movie. I'm pretty sure this is the reply that Gabriel stumbled across, in which I stated, I've heavily considered remaking this movie, basically rebranding it, fixing everything wrong with it, maybe even rewrite the script altogether. This sounds ambiguous, but at the time, I really had big dreams and plans for this possible remake. However, unlike some people, I am actually very afraid to even try this out. Like, a lot could go wrong and some stuff just may not work out, like for some people's movies. I had turned to Battle Royales again when Gabriel checked on me about my plans for remaking Foodfight, in which I made the confession that I had not been working on it. Then the idea came to me, what if I made a safer move in making a concept discussion video of some sorts of how I would remake the movie? Unfortunately, to make this the most impactful as I can, I will be going through the video, my thoughts, what I think certain things are, like the whole movie I'll be discussing. Now, obviously, there will be spoilers in this video because I will be tackling the film Foodfight, like, greatly. Like, we will be diving into this video and many things I find wrong with it. So I strongly suggest that you at least try to watch the original Foodfight film. You can get it on YouTube Movies. You can watch MaxVid's 500's upload of the movie. It will be very helpful to you. So with that being said, let's get right into the recap of the movie and my thoughts on it. So we're off to a good start with the movie where Leonard, the manager of the Marketropolis Market, is shown greeting this customer goodbye and closes his store. Oh, there's Crest over there, by the way. Which becomes this city for all the mascots of the products in the store. We're introduced to many characters in this movie who are actually, believe it or not, very irrelevant to the story. We'll talk more about this later. Finally, we are introduced to our main protagonist, Dex Detective. We see him having a showdown with a minor antagonist in the film, Fat Cat Burglar, who had kidnapped some kittens. With ease, Dex defeats him, and he saves the day. Now, I feel discontent with this because this can leave questions for the audience. Who is Dex Detective? Whose side is he on? And is he even our main protagonist? We unfortunately have to figure these out through subtle and easy to miss clues that are shown throughout the beginning of the film. Anyone that catches them will be able to learn that Dex is supposed to be a serial mascot who actually does this for his job. He is not just some ordinary person. He works for the supermarket's form of government. He has also been doing this for a very long time and is actually very famous for his success at it. So great protagonist so far. He just should have been introduced with more clarification. A little after the fiasco, Dex reveals to his friend Dan, who is not introduced very well either, that he is going to be proposing to his girlfriend Sunshine Goodness. While Dan is very confident in his friend, Dex does have his doubts. Despite the way he was introduced, Dex is starting off strong in this film. He now has some depth to his character. Cool guy, but ironically lacks confidence in himself. I love it. Okay, so now we are introduced to Dex's girlfriend, Sunshine Goodness. She is ironically a raisin mascot who vaguely resembles an anime Cackerel version of the Sunmaid, which is a real-life brand. They go out to eat together. They're just talking about how much they love one another. It's actually kind of wholesome. Well, anyway, just before Dex can propose to Sunshine, Dan is trying to do something, like a little picture of them up in the sky, and he actually crashes in the process. Sunshine goes off to check on him, and sadly, he turns out to be okay. He did not die. Meanwhile, Sunshine did go missing. Dan tells Dex that she never managed to find him in the first place. While they assume she just went off to hang out with friends or something, Sunshine actually does not make an appearance again for almost the rest of the movie. This is something I think writers call killing off a character. Now, why this is really too bad was because we did not really get to know much about her. Like, what is she like? Why does Dex like her so much? 6 months later, we are introduced to Mr. Clipboard. He's trying to put his brand X, in Mr. Leonard's store. Poor Mr. Leonard just can't with him. I mean, look at the guy. He's so... yeah, like, poor Mr. Leonard. He's just like the only normal character in this movie, it seems. Mr. Clipboard explains to Mr. Leonard that Brand X is the brand of the future, and you can either join it or basically fall behind. They also did a surprisingly magnificent job at making stepping on a bag of chips epic and emotional, in fact. Dex now runs a club called the Copa Banana. Dan is trying to cheer him up because he still has not found Sunshine. Dex just feels like he's absolutely failed her. Now, notice that this seems like a scene that almost should be way later in the film. We will talk more about this later. On Dex's way to the Copa Banana, we are introduced to 2 more characters, Cheezel T. Weasel and Polar. Cheezel T. Weasel being this kind of a scumbag, and he's not really that good of a person. Polar is like the good character. He will be important, sort of. He's Dex's friend. At the Copa Banana, we are introduced to more product placement characters, such as the California Raisins, Miss Butterworth, Mr. Clean, and some bootleg of the Chiquita person on the bananas. Here, Dex talks with Captain Crispy about his brand. Captain Crispy is the mascot of the potato chips that Mr. Clipboard actually stepped on earlier in the film. Dan then introduces us to a new character, Lady X. She is a detergent mascot who, spoilers, goes on to be the main antagonist of the film. Watching the film, you will notice that she is not introduced very well either, like many of the other characters. This is an issue that I will bring up now that we have come across it just enough. Many of these characters are just not introduced very well, I feel. They're just, hey, you're just up on screen now, do something, which I heavily dislike in these movies. I'd like to be introduced to these characters and get to know them better. You know what I'm saying? While Dex and Captain Crispy have their suspicions of Lady X, Dan is ready to put a ring on it, which results in a fight. A food fight, in fact. Dex doesn't have time for craps, and he kicks everybody out of his club. Dan and Lady X leave together while Dex heads back to his office. Jazz and blues are playing while Dex is grieving over the loss of Sunshine Goodness. Again, a scene that seems like it should be much later in the film. Lady X breaks into his office as well as breaking his Jazz and Blues CD. She begins to mack it to him. Dex now knows very well that she is obviously trouble. She was just hanging out with Dan, and now she wants to hang out with Dex. It's not the type of women you really want to mess with. She explains that she had been in the store before, but was recalled. She says that she has turned over a new leaf and is presumably a better person. Throughout all of this, Dex actually gets a whiff of her perfume. It's very nostalgic to him, in fact, and it's very familiar. Her excuse is that Dan and Captain Crispy fighting one another resulted in some beef with the sugar and salt mascots. They went off to settle it outside. They're interrupted by some screaming outside, which is Harry. He functions like the mayor in Marketropolis. This is never explicitly stated in the film, it's just how it is. And again, another poor execution of introducing this character. Dex and Lady X go outside, where it is shockingly revealed that Harry is screaming about a mass homicide of the Sugar and Salt Ikes, including Captain Crispy. Dan, however, is not here. Okay, so we come across an issue here that it's actually an unpopular contribute to why Foodfight is so bad. Foodfight's universe is unwelcoming to the audience. And I'm not talking about the animation as much as how it introduces the rules to its universe. We are left with questions that require much needed answers to really understand and feel welcomed to this film. What are Ikes? How are they born? How do they die? What happens when they die? What happens to their products? Can humans interact with the Ike world? What in the absolute crap is rigor mortis? Etc. It's like visiting an alien planet and the aliens are like, hey, welcome to our world, deal with it. Never really explaining how exactly their life and things work on their planet. This scenario is actually the exact reason why I personally, very hot take, do not like the Star Wars franchise. I feel like it really abandons the audience alone to go off and figure out how the world of Star Wars works for themselves. Given some people actually like this, and I can see why. It can be fun for the audience sometimes to explore and figure stuff out for themselves. I just personally don't like it, possibly because I play role-playing games. They are often very welcoming to the player and take the time to explain how their world works. They have to if you're going to progress and enjoy the game. So here's how it works in it, apparently. The mascots are called Ikes, which is it's supposed to be short for icons, apparently. They are the soul of their products. If they get killed or if they just die in some weird scenario, their product will actually expire and go bad in real life. This makes very little sense considering that would mean time would skip for these products. Like, that's just not how it works in real life. It's never explained how it works in the film, it's just what it is. The next day, Mr. Clipboard gets right to work for Leonard in stocking up the shelves with Brand X products, specifically replacements for the Ikes that were killed that night. Dex knows there is definitely something up with this. How did Mr. Clipboard know that these products would be going bad that night? Dex may have failed Sunshine and Dan, but he can't let Marketropolis down. With that, he puts on his detective uniform, and it's time to get our hands dirty again. Harry's trying to get everyone together in court and talk about this, but no one really wants to when Lady X and the new Brand X Ikes, General X, the Brand X lunch lady, and probably the best character in the movie, Lieutenant X, Lady X tells the other Ikes that Brand X is strong and ought to take control of Marketropolis. While everyone seems chill with it, Polar has his suspicions. Unsurprisingly, Brand X continues to kill off other Ikes. Remember this guy? He gets killed off. Remember him? Never makes another appearance in the movie again. Remember Chisel T. Weasel? He sadly lives and does not die. This to me came across as an extreme waste of time and resources to the writers. Why would they introduce us to so many irrelevant characters and just kill them off? I personally just didn't really like it. It just felt super wasteful. Dex makes his way to Lady X's big building she now has in Marketropolis. Apparently, she had been expecting Dex, even to the point where she's all dressed up nice. She explains that she knows about Sunshine Goodness and how much Dex longs for her. She also admits that she does actually have Dan held hostage. Dan is sadly still alive. She tells Dex that she wants him to join her. She will let Dan go, and even goes as far as saying that she could be Dex's new Sunshine. Dex strongly opposes the idea of joining Brand X and Lady X replacing Sunshine Goodness. He makes the attempt to arrest her. Just before he can do so, though, Lady X knocks down her ice statue and it falls on Dex. She goes on to knock him unconscious with her baby doll thing. Can we get Dex on Versus Battles Wiki? Like, this could get very interesting. Sorry, moving on. Dex wakes up to learn that he is being held hostage along with Dan now inside this dryer. Dan confirms for us that Lady X is indeed our main antagonist. Unfortunately, he introduces us to a new concept, and that is exobites. They're never introduced or explained very well, they're just what they are in the movie. Again, an issue that we have brought up before. Even the old early Foodfight trailer was confused as to what exactly an exobite is. Exobites are apparently mosquito-inspired robots that serve under Brand X. Lady X is building an entire army of them that can be fueled with her golden yellow elixir stuff that is actually toxic to Ike's. We will learn about this later. Dex and Dan escape the dryer. In kind of a witty way, they follow this sock out to escape the dryer. This is kind of an early 2000s kid inside joke where the socks always seem to like get lost or just somehow manage to no longer be in the dryer anymore. I thought it was pretty funny, but I guess unfortunately in this day and age, it's probably just not. They go off to meet up with another apparently relevant character, Dr. Sinustrix, I think is how you pronounce his name. Dex asks him to test out Lady X's perfume, which he was able to grab throughout all the fiasco. Here we learn that Lady X's elixir stuff actually contains an addicting and toxic ingredient. I have a theory that what the movie was trying to say here, it never really stated this, but I have a headcanon that it was referring to while it is toxic to Ikes and will actually kill them, it is addicting to the humans. Lady X has been using this stuff to kill Ikes with the exobites, as well as getting shoppers to buy Brand X products like crazy. I'm not quite sure how this worked for non-edible products like cleaners and stuff. This was never clarified in the movie either. But I have another headcanon where in this case it is the scent that is addicting to the humans, much like Lady X's perfume. Dex decides to recall Brand X on Leonard's computer, which is on the other side of the store. He's left no choice but to make his way over there during the daytime while the ugly AF people are still shopping. No Ike has ever done this before, but there really is no other option for Dex. Dan tags along too, as well as the Brand X lunch lady. Despite her size, she is actually able to keep up with them for quite the bit. Eventually they lose her and actually meet up with Polar. Dex tells Polar to get everyone to gather at the Copa Banana and tell them that Brand X is behind all this. Dex and Dan get to Leonard's office, and it actually took me a few times watching this movie to realize that this is actually a graveyard of the Ikes. We are introduced to the most gay character in the film, Vlad Chakul, as well as the coolest character in the film, probably Blue, the computer. While they're working with Blue to recall Brand X, Lieutenant X and some guards seal up the doorway to Leonard's office with instant glue, so now they're kind of just stuck in here. They come across an old product called Priscilla Pusley's Genetically Giant Prunes. Dex informs Dan and Vlad, as well as the audience, I suppose, that Priscilla Pusley was a failed product having the worst sales ever. So points for that. It's also good for the audience, I think, to remember this character. This character is important later on. They also learn that Sunshine Goodness was recalled as well. They do more research to learn that these products were both recalled by Brand X. Dex feels an anger and hatred that he has never felt before. Brand X took Sunshine Goodness away from him. He requests Blue to recall Brand X immediately. Just before Blue can do so, though, Lieutenant X has his guards cut the power to the store. Honestly, I don't know how they were actually able to do this, they just were. This leaves the Ikes with one more option, and that is to go head on with the Brand X. Dex is ready for this. With that, they escape from a vent and begin their plan. Meanwhile, Lady X is rallying up Brand X to take over the entire store. They are also planning to take over other stores as well. Meanwhile, at the Copa Banana, Polar has gathered all the Ikes just like Dex told him to. They are waiting on Dex when Lieutenant X crashes the party, claiming that Dex has been discontinued. He says that they are better off surrendering now and sing with them the best theme song ever created by man. They refuse, and Lieutenant X begins to lose his patience. Dex shows up, revealing that he has not discontinued. He has the Ikes start singing Not the French national anthem. A lot of people mistaken this in reviews, but this was actually a parody of the French national anthem. They have a dance battle, and through parodies being dominant over original songs, Brand X loses. Dex gives them the boot and tells them to get lost. Lieutenant X says that he will return to pulverize them. This is not the end of the movie, sadly. We then move on to a scene that seems like it should have been in a pretty good movie, actually. Dex talks with the other Ikes how they have lost many things and people that they loved to Brand X. It's time they stand up for themselves and fight for what's right. And finally, we get to the moment that you have all been waiting for. The food fight of the movie. So Lady X is like, there he is! And Dex is like, let's go, fool. General X throws his saber at an innocent bystander. And what we call the final fight in a movie begins. Now, before we begin, this final fight consists of 20 minutes or something like that of everyone running around and punching and throwing stuff at one another. Like, it's not much different from watching gameplay footage of Hyrule Warriors. It's just that bad. So with that being said, we will just be focusing on the important parts of the fight. Presumably important. They plan to start a lightning storm from a telephone pole. Like, knock it down. It's going to start a lightning storm. They're going to put up aluminum rods on their buildings while hopefully leaving the lightning to destroy Brand X's buildings. Yes, that is their plan. Cheezel T. Weasel shows up and wants to help. They have their suspicions of him, obviously, but they still let him give it a shot. He goes off to knock the telephone pole down while everyone else puts up their aluminum rods on their buildings. Harry is hanging out with Lady X and is just in disbelief that she's choosing to do this. He also feels especially bad given that he did technically give Lady X this power. Polar gets killed off, by the way. We're supposed to feel like extremely sad and maybe even cry because he's like the wholesome character, but we just, like all other characters, we didn't really get to know him. General X is like sucks to suck, I guess. And here is unfortunately probably our best and only decent fight in the movie. Dex shoots his tape gun at General X, leaving him immobile and to get ran over by this can of, I don't even know what it is. Dex is ready to go ham on Lady X, but before doing so, he heads back to the Copa Banana with Polar's dead body. Fun fact, as awkward as it is, Francois Fromage and the Chiquita bootleg are actually in love. Yes. Dr. Sinustrix comes back just to let Dex know that he still does not have an antidote. Like, he literally just dropped by just to say that. Vlad Chakul comes back to let Dex know that he and the other Ikes have gotten the aluminum rods up. They are ready to execute Cheezel T. Weasel's part. I love that face, by the way. We get to another scene here that actually seems like once again it would have been in a pretty good movie. Dex tells Dan that he's not only left Sunshine down, but practically everyone he knows and loves. They continue on with this really heart-to-heart conversation, how much they've just impacted one another in their lives. Practically making me forget for a moment that I'm watching the worst movie ever. He goes on to tell Dan that he will be going into the Brand X building. He plans to sacrifice himself, hijacking Brand X's source of essence for the exobytes. He wants Dan to take over for him at his job if he dies. We then pan off to Cheezel T. Weasel, where he is about to execute his part of the fight. He's just about to knock down this telephone pole when the Brand X lunch lady actually hijacks him. He practically justifies his existence in the movie, surprisingly actually killing off the Brand X lunch lady. He got the telephone pole to begin falling over before she dropped by. With timing, he just kicks her underneath it and it just falls on her. Thus, the lightning storm begins. The Ike's plan is surprisingly a success. Their buildings are okay while leaving Brand X's buildings getting struck by lightning. The film then pans to Dex, who has now gotten into the Brand X building. No footage of him sneaking around, no Mission Impossible music playing, he just gets in there. With ease, he destroys the exobyte refueling area and goes off to the top of the Brand X building. Up there, he actually finds Sunshine Goodness finally, as well as Lieutenant X, who is actually about to execute her. Lady X shows up and tells Lieutenant X to execute Dex too while he's at it. She leaves him to do that. We unfortunately do not get a fight scene between these two guys. I honestly would have loved to see Dex and Lieutenant X have like an all-out, some sort of fist fight or something, but we didn't get it, sadly. Dex unfortunately kind of just cheeses Lieutenant X real quick. He jerks the rug that Lieutenant X and Sunshine was sitting on. While Lieutenant X fell over, Sunshine she didn't move because, that just makes sense, apparently. Dex gets Lieutenant X's, I don't even know what it is. It's like, I think it's supposed to be a gun, but it's family friendly because, this is a kid's movie, right? It somehow lands and stabs Lieutenant X. Its family friendliness is too much to take, and our boy is sadly killed off. Dex unties Sunshine from the chair, and they are just so happy to see one another. Sunshine tells Dex that Brand X has actually been stealing her essence to make Lady X's elixir. They also tattooed the Brand X logo on Sunshine's neck. I just noticed that. Dex hates that Brand X took something so good and made something so bad out of it. Meanwhile, outside, the Brand X building is actually about to fall. It's been struck by too much lightning. The two say they will be okay dying together. However, if Dan is able to pull off the move that he's been trying to do in his plane throughout the whole movie, he might actually be able to save them. And, well, he does, practically justifying his existence in the movie. Good for him. They get back to the ground where they see Mr. Clipboard actually attacking the city. The citizens are all running from him. This was an especially weird scene considering that the rules of this were never clarified in the movie. How do humans get to the Ike world? Dex tells Sunshine that he's gonna go head on with Mr. Clipboard. He's got beef with him, unsurprisingly. She's like, no, you can't fight a human! But Dex tells her that these are the things that he's gotta do sometimes if he's going to protect her and the things he loves in his life. So him, the Yorkshire Moose, and the Chiquita bootleg go all Empire Strikes Back on Mr. Clipboard and defeat him. It is revealed shortly afterward that he is actually a life-sized robot controlled by Lady X. Hopefully you still remember Priscilla Pusley because that is actually when the plot twist comes in. Lady X reveals herself to be Priscilla Pusley. Dex can't buy it because it truly does not make any sense. She explains that when they were on the shelf together, Sunshine was more of a success financially over Priscilla Pusley. She has them both recalled and goes off to Brazil to get plastic surgery, changing her bod as well as her age, I guess? She still has her elixir and states that she will be back. But now that she's told her story, she wants to attempt to kill Dex now. This I suppose you would call our true final fight, but again, it is unfortunately underwhelming. It goes against Dex's character to actually harm a woman, despite Lady X attempting to kill him as well as having killed some of his friends. Sunshine Goodness pitches in and stands up for Dex. It's also very fair to assume that she is especially fed up with Lady X. The fan service is real. Catgirl furry waifu versus urban male fantasy woman. I love it. She goes all absolutely gangster sweating on Lady X, performing Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat combos on her. She executes a finisher on her, magically, getting rid of all the plastic surgery she had, reverting herself to her original Priscilla Pusley form. Perhaps the most grotesque character in the movie, even everyone else is disgusted by her. She confesses that she was in fact in love with Dex, though she admits she did want world domination more in fact. Dex sends Dan to take her to the expiration place, very likely to be executed. Ever so conveniently, Dr. Sinustrix comes back with an antidote now. It's a success and revives all the dead Ikes. Dex then kind of just explains how proud he is of everyone, and he knew that everyone had it in them to be able to face off against Brand X and defeat them. He finally gets to propose to Sunshine Goodness. We just see her so happy. It's so good. She, without a second thought, accepts. And with that, Dex and Sunshine finally get married, and we have our happy ever after. Also, Dex wears a second hat under his hat, apparently. Well, we finally did it, guys. We got through the whole thing. If you got through this, thank you so much. This was kind of a hard thing for me to do, and I thought you guys would like it. Thank you so much. Like, wow, this was sorry again. It was kind of this was something super different from what I normally do, and it's something super different from what I normally do, guys. I'm sorry. I'm hoping to get better. I'm hoping to get better at these. This also should have been done much sooner. It could have been done within like a week, I guess, but I procrastinated and made it take like a month, I feel. So I'm really sorry about that. To make up for it, and I guess I got to too. This video unfortunately got pretty long, and I hope to actually make a sequel. In the sequel, I will be discussing how I would remake the movie in a hypothetical scenario. Well, huge shout out, thank you Gabriel for requesting me to do this. This was actually a really neat experience for me. I almost feel like I like this movie now. Is it possible to like this movie? I think with context, a better understanding of the movie, and oh man, and I think having low expectations, I think it's possible to actually like it. I think doing this, I got a much better understanding of the movie and its world. I feel like I almost like this movie now. No joke. But anyway, guys, like if you enjoyed, be sure to subscribe if you are excited for my next video. I promise it should be shorter. And it should be faster to make than this. And as I'm learning how to do these, I guess. Let me know if you want me to keep doing these kind of videos. This was kind of stressful, but it was a neat experience. It was an interesting experience. If you'd like me to do more like slideshow things, lately I've been kind of just doing like remixes and other like music related stuff that I'm hoping to actually release some more after this. If you guys are excited for that, but anyway, that ought to be it. Thank you guys again for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. Y'all take care now.